Yo, 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 it's 13 with Superior Mobile by 13, and today I've got this beautiful Ford F-150 Raptor R Edition in the shop for a bunch of cool stuff. Now, this is just a contract job for me doing installation only for lighting products. This is a client of Auto Film Guys around the corner. He did a whole restyling package, so he did a bunch of PPF work on this, some other upgrades, audio system, and a lighting package with Baja designs. Now, I would like to preface this by saying I do not like Baja Designs products. I tried to advise him otherwise, but apparently this is what the client requested specifically, so this is what Auto Film Guys purchased and then brought over to me to install. So let's go over what I installed. So first and foremost, it used to have the rigid fog lights down here, and so now what we've got is a trifecta arrangement of Baja Designs lighting. This guy right here on the outside is set up on the fog light switch, and those inner two are now set up on the aux1 switch. Fog light switch on. Upfitter switch number 1 on. Of course, both switches can be on in the same time, so all three of them can be on. It should be mentioned that the aux1 switch is only a 10 amp circuit, and since both of those LED pods pulled 13.5 amps, they are relay isolated on this vehicle. Next up, we have this beautiful crosslink bar, and I'm certainly not going to hate on the quality of the components here. I like the hardcore aluminum that is machined, and it's got a nice heavy gauge steel bracket that holds it in place, and obviously some high output LED pods. What I do have a problem with our Baja Designs' plugs for all of their products. They're bulky and obtrusive, and in this particular application, they actually made a clearance issue behind this crosslink assembly. So in order to clean up behind here and make it look better and also not to have any clearance issues, I cut off all of the plugs and did a daisy chain heat shrink assembly. I don't know if I can really get back there and show it to you too well, and that wiring is tucked up and hidden and just disappears inside of the bumper. So definitely installation is key on making this look professionally installed. Upfitter switch number 2 on. Next up, we've got the ditch lights, and in this particular instance, we're using LP4s. Now, I personally am not a huge fan of LP4s. I think they're really cheesy and cheap looking. I think their performance is unimpressive. Also, the wiring harness for this thing is just terrible. On this side, I did what I wanted to do, and I actually ran the backlit wire inside of a single loom and then hid that wire in there. Now, the way Baja Designs wants you to do it is they actually send you 2 separate wiring harnesses. So you've got 2 wire looms that come out of the back of these housings. It makes it cheaper for them, but it makes it an uglier installation. And if you're wondering why one side was done with a different installation technique than the other side, the answer is always budget. Parking lights on. Now the backlight feature is activated because they are tapped into the parking lights, and thankfully there's a bunch of amber lighting on this truck already, which is a really great thing because the LP4s are only an amber backlight as compared to other products like Diode Dynamics, which has a selectable color backlight. aux3 on. Next up, we move to the back of the truck towards the headache rack, where we have a Baja Designs 50-inch LED bar. I believe this is the ONX6, and that is what this thing looks like right here. You can see it from the outside. This headache rack, by the way, is still missing its inserts. That's over at Auto Film Guys. They're going to install that as part of the final phase of this build. Number 4 is the bar. This mounting bracket in this headache rack, by the way, is actuator activated, so I think it's a bit of a gimmick. However, it does lower down with the switch. I installed the switch right here. To me, that looks pretty darn tootin' factory. And all you gotta do is hold it down for a certain amount of time, and that rack will slowly lower down. And obviously when you press up, that's what takes it back up. Next up, we've got some chase lights on this thing, obviously also from Baja Designs, but there we are. Those are both mounted to that headache rack. Those are on switch 5. And lastly, we have additional reverse lights, and these are mounted underneath the bumper right here, and they are tapped into the reverse signal on this vehicle, so they come on with reverse. Okay, so the headlights are on right now, so I'm gonna turn those off so we can get full effect. Here's with the fog light on, fog light off, fog light location LED pods on, and those off. Then we've got the crosslink bar up front and crosslink off. Next up, we've got the ditch lights on, and the reason I don't like LP4s as ditch lights is because they shine out the side like that, and they're actually blinding me right now. Ditch lights off. The 50-inch light bar on the headache rack on. That one's really bright, but very high up, and then we turn that back off. Oh, looking behind me, and then this is the chase lights shining out the rear, and then chase lights off. But of course, what you're gonna wanna see is everything on. So there you go, we're all lit up. Crazy bright, all around. That's a lot of light, man. It's a lot of light. Oh, I guess we could turn on our headlights too, but did you even notice the headlights on? Here are the headlights off, here are they on. Yeah, you can't tell. There's just LED pods, they're just so bright. And then let's turn everything off, and look, there's the headlights output. Cool! And that concludes all of the client supplied equipment that I installed on this 2023 Ford F-150 Raptor R. In total, I've got about 21 hours in labor, which it normally shouldn't take that long, but unfortunately, we used subpar products with subpar wiring harnesses, and it just took a lot of extra work in order to make a very acceptable type of installation technique. But of course, as long as somebody is willing to pay my labor rate, I am absolutely willing to install client supplied product as long as I get to install it to my standard. Now our little Raptor's battery is all sleepy from all that exercise, so she's on the battery tender and will wake up in the morning fully charged and happy. Thanks so much for watching this video. This is 13 with Superior Mobile by 13. I'll talk to you later. See ya.